Hey ADU fans, Jeff Baker, ADU for you, and I'm standing here with Sam from Colorado Painting Company.
Sam Manges, the Colorado Painting Company. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good today.
Beautiful fall day, and we're here to talk about a Sashco product. Is that right?
That's right. We have this lovely stain called Transformation. Let me turn this out so you guys can see that.
So we've got some cedar shake siding that we've put onto this building, and we did some prep work ahead of today that basically we came through and we sanded all the fuzz off. And the reason for that is to get better penetration, right, Sam?
Yeah, we don't want those fibers sticking up, making it feel very, very pokey and sharp.
And because if you don't do that, because that stuff is loose on there, if you apply your stain to that, eventually that's just going to fall off. So we want deep penetration into this, and so it gets a long-lasting coat on this, and they won't have to have too much maintenance, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to spray a real nice heavy coat, and then we're going to back brush with the grain to make sure that, you know, we don't have any discrepancies of stain throughout.
Awesome. So what we're going to do is here, we're going to mix up some of this stuff, show you how we mix this stuff, and then we're going to show you how to apply it. We will be using a sprayer today.
Correct.
And then a back brush.
Correct.
Awesome. Well, let's get right to the mixing.
Sounds good. Let's mix it up. All right. We're here now to mix up this product, Transformation Stain from Sashco. We're going to use this Flex Tint and mix that into this pail. But first, we needed to make sure that we had all of the sidewalk covered very well. The stain will penetrate into that concrete and make it very difficult to get out of there. One thing I do before I open any stain product or paint product is I always try to blast it with a little bit of air, just to make sure that you know, none of this particulate will end up inside of the product.
That's good, Sam. And how do you open up these metal? It's the best way to open up these metal lids.
Yeah, these metal lids can be really difficult. So what I like to do is I like to have a 5-in-1, and I basically tuck it into this little groove here you can see on the oil-based 5, and then I just kind of bend it back. You don't have to bend it back too far, but enough to get the lid off, and then you'll have to go around pretty much the whole bucket and get these all pried open. You can do this with a screwdriver as well.
And the benefit about buying these 5-gallon buckets of stain that's not tinted, it allows you to mix as you go, or you could have a bunch of clear 5-gallon buckets and then have all your color ready to go and not have to mix it up and waste stain. I guess that's going to be a huge benefit on the job site if you're trying to just use what you need and not waste, and
absolutely
be able to do it on the fly as well.
Yeah, you can control that. You can always know too that the right amount of Flex Tint was put in here because of how Sashco fills their tubes. They give us that little bit of extra to make sure that there's no inconsistencies when we're mixing.
Yeah, even if there is a little bit left in there, it says on the instructions, there might be a little bit left in the end of that tube, but that doesn't seem to matter. So are we ready to open this guy up?
Yeah, let's open this up and then mix her up. Here's our Flex Tint. Make sure you do it the zero failure approved way. There you go. All right, now let's just go ahead and squirt that in here.
Another good reason to be having those drop cloths down is it can splash back on you a little bit. Whoop. All right, so now that we've emptied our cartridge into our 5-gallon stain bucket, one little cool thing they got here is a sticker that will peel off, so you can put the color of your stain on your can. So if you've got a bunch of these things, obviously you want to know what stain you've got on there. So we're going to go ahead and peel that off before Sam starts to mix. And we're going to go ahead and just add that onto our can. That's really, really, really smart. I like that.
And right here we have a nice little whip mixer that we're going to put into the stain and mix the tint up with it. It wants about 5 to 7 minutes of stirring. You want to make sure you're very mindful when you're stirring, not to pull the whip out so that you create a mess, kind of like when you're making cookies. You don't pull the mixer out. So let's make some cookies. Also want to be mindful, I'm not full pull on this drill, right? You can hear it, it's not going at maximum. You could also dial that back on the drill itself, maybe change the speed here. But again, if I rip it real hard, it's gonna blast out of here. I'm just gonna go all around, you know, hit the bottom a little bit, go side to side. Make sure that everything is very well mixed. Any of these swirl marks that you can see with the tint, you wanna make sure that those disappear. No like milky swirls either, right? Maybe I bring it up to the top a little bit, but again, I'm not going fast. And then again, 5 to 7 minutes of this. Looks like we're making milk chocolate here, doesn't it?
Some toffee.
Some candied caulking.
So we're going to be using a sprayer today, Sam. And you've got the separate sprayer compared to the other sprayer that you've got here that looks like it's had a bunch of paint run through it.
Correct. So this sprayer has only had oil-based products ran through it its entire life. That's why it's like a cheaper sprayer, right? Because I might burn through that more than I do on this. But I don't want any paint to contaminate this product. And there's probably traces of paint in the filters, the manifold filter, the gun filter, or just through the line in general. So we really want something that's only had oil-based products and thinners through it. That's this little guy. I'm just gonna add some hose to it because I don't think that we have enough hose to reach the peak over here. So I just put a little connector on here. I'm gonna tighten it down with a couple wrenches. Then we'll pump a little bit of paint thinner through the unit just to kind of lubricate everything, and then we'll get it in the stain and prime the pump and the spray line itself. And then we'll be ready to apply our first coat and do some back brushing. We're gonna prime the sprayer now. See, we got the intake hose into the product. We got the sprayer set to prime. And then we're going to turn the machine on and it should pump through here into here. So once I start to see it come through there, I want to stop the priming process. So I'll close that valve. Now I want to get my spray gun. I always want to have the trigger pulled before, make sure it's not full of pressure, blasts all this thinner into my face. And then here you can see I closed the prime valve. So now it should start pumping and pushing it through here. Now, if you noticed, I kept spraying even after I saw product. That's because that first bit of product is going to be mixed in with that thinner. So we want to try to kick that out into a bucket that you're not going to use. Now, something that I like to do is I always like to go back into the product with my sprayer after everything's primed and you know, I have material flowing through here for just like 30 seconds or so. The reason is I'm going to cycle that thinner. Anything that might still be in here is going to get pushed out and then mixed into the bucket and diluted into that 5 gallon. Something you want to be mindful of though is I'm not trying to create a bunch of air bubbles in here, right? So traditionally I'll spray the intake tube and try to get it to go just kind of down that way. Now there will be some bubbles again, but less is more. So I might just turn the pressure down too. Also, see there's still some pressure in there, so I want to get that out. Now I can just kind of easily squeeze it so that it comes out slowly. Now with it squeezed, I'm going to turn the unit back on. And see how I'm hitting that intake valve It's going to make some air bubbles, but a lot less than if I were just going right into it. Pressure might be a little high too, but that's okay. All right, now I feel confident that this spray, the spray rig has this product, just this product in its line, and now it's ready to be applied. So I'll put my guard back on with my tip. This tip I have is a 515. Let's see. Yeah, it says right here, 515. I don't know if you can read that. It's a Graco tip. This is one too that we got at Home Depot. We didn't really get this at the paint store. Something also, best practice is to make sure that you have this locked right here whenever you're messing with this with a pressurized gun. You don't want to be messing around with this and blasting your face or your mouth or something, or your eyes. All right. Now, once we feel good about our spray rig setup, I don't know if I'm going to be a side shooter or straight on with this one. Okay. All right, so this is on. I should be able to just pull the trigger and it sprays. I'm going to use this as a little test area. Test my pattern. Sounds like that tip's clogged a little bit. There it goes. We haven't had a lot pumped through this tip, but it was a while ago. You can see there's still more stuff in there. Okay. Still feel like there might be some stuff in there. Might be best idea for us to replace this tip before we start so that we don't get any lines in our spray pattern. Even though we're going to back brush this, you know, we want that paint, or excuse me, that stain to be applied as even as possible. All right, so we had malfunction on our spray tip. It was getting kind of clogged, so we swapped it out with the tip that was on the paint rig. Some might call that into question, but I think that we're going to be all right because there's minimal surface area that the paint is on here, and we cleaned it very well. It's not like a filter or something like that that's going to get clogged in a different way. So now I got a blue guard on here with a Graco low pressure 515 tip. 5 is going to be how big our pattern is, or how wide. 5 would be 10 inches, so you double that number. And then 15 is going to be the orifice size, so that's how big the hole is. Now our product is asking us to have at least a 15 size orifice. I think it goes up to 17 or 19 or something like that as an option. But in the last video when we were spraying inside the box, you could see the spray pattern was very small and it had lines in it. Now if we hit the outside of the box with this new pattern, you'll see it's a very nice spray pattern. So now we're gonna hook this gun up to this lovely tool. This is one of my favorite tools that Hyde makes. It's a telescoping spray pole. They just redesigned this top piece too. I got this at the PCA event from the guy who invented this. He blessed me with this piece, which has made life a lot easier, having actual angles that this will notch to. The old version, you had to like tighten the wing nut down. It was very difficult to work with. Still a little mod that they could end up doing right here, even though they did replace this, because it doesn't work well with some guns, as you'll see with this one. But other than that, this is one of my favorite tools. So you just put the gun in here like this. Now, depending on how your gun was put onto your line, if this little flat spot is right here, it really helps with this specific tool, but it doesn't always line up like that. So when you can get it to line up like that, for me, that's like hitting the lotto that day. So I'll always be happy when that's happening. Now, once you get it secure, right, you want to make sure everything's real nice and tight. I'm going to attach the line to this little line holder. Also, since we got to go up higher, I'm going to telescope this out and then lock her down. So now you can see I can hit this entire side without any ladders with this pole. Now that would be great if it was paint, but unfortunately it's stained, so we have to work in sections and then back brush. But yeah, this is an excellent method for application of coatings to higher areas. So yeah, let's get going.
It doesn't matter what comes, stain goes better on wood. With Sashco strong and full of good. Nothing soaks on through, staying strong, staying true. With Sashco strong and full of good. Stain goes better, Sash goes better. Stain goes better. With Sashco strong and full of good. Sashco, the stain maker.
Wow.
What a good job.
Sam. What a transformation, right?
Wow, like the stain says, that's its name, and it sure did that.
I thought it looked awesome before we put anything on the Western red cedar shake shingle panels that we've got on here.
I'll tell you what, this product is so easy to apply, and the transformation that happens is second to none. I would only use this product moving forward on all of my exterior stain projects.
It just looks fantastic, and it's drying out now a little bit. So we'll let it dry. I think we got 6 to 8 hour at least dry time on it. So I'll probably come back in the morning, put a second coat on that.
Yeah, we'll do another coat, and then that'll really tighten things up, really seal up this cedar shake shingle so that it can last.
And then maintenance, it should every maybe like 3 years or so, come back over and just put another coat on it.
Yeah, definitely. You should be able to do that with this product. That's what makes it so awesome.
It's excellent. This looks so good, and the homeowner's super happy. So.
Yeah, they stopped by and they were elated. So another job well done by
Absolutely.
ADU for you and the Colorado Painting Company.
Awesome. Thanks, Sashco.
Thanks, Sashco. You're the best.
All right, Sam. Back here again, 24 hours later.
Morning, Jeff. Yes, we back at this project here doing these shake shingle siding pieces with transformation stain from Sashco. Really great product. We waited 24 hours and then we put the second coat on. This side's a little too hot right now. That's why you can still see the masking on it. So we're actually going to revisit that later on this evening. But the other two sides we were able to get done this morning. without any risk. So we went ahead and did that. The product itself was a lot easier to put on the second coat. I think that first coat sealed up the wood real nice, and then the finish laid out real nice and flat here on the second coat. So definitely appreciate when it's easier to back brush.
Absolutely. It looks great. I mean, we said it yesterday, what a transformation. Like you said, this side only has the one coat on it. We'll get the second one on there, but it just really, really, really looks sharp.
Yeah,
it's really rich.
Very rich. Yeah, that's what I was exactly going to say.
Yeah, really, really happy with it. So 2 coats, back brushed on, 24 hours apart. That first coat you put on real heavy.
Yeah, you're really, really liberal when you're applying that. Don't skimp. That's what we like to say. It's what Sashco likes to say. And then a good back brush.
Yeah.
Got elbow grease in this, but it's worth every minute of it.
Yeah, it looks great. Well, great job, Sam.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Jeff.
the work that you did. Sashco, another great product.
Thanks, Sashco.